side. Huh? So the position someone lies in is what they do everywhere, whether they're back here yeah, as they're lying, because that's more the way they know themselves, or whether they're here because that's the way they know themselves. And we're expanding their possibilities. Yeah? So he had Larry on his side. He had something soft under Larry's head that wasn't going to stop movement. It was going to give him some support, but it was probably going to stop a fair amount of Larry rotating. No? Because, yeah? Because what is this for? If you do it, what functionally do we want to do that for? Scanning? Yeah? Yeah? Mm-hmm. Yeah, going in a rotation direction. Would that give us taking the hand to our foot? Would rotation be the thing that's going to help me to change the shapes in my torso to give me more adaptability? Can you feel that? That rotation's not going to be the easiest way. It's going to be the side bending, where I'm getting some of the, it's going to be the flexion and extension. There, more when I'm reaching somewhere. So it's great if I'm reaching straight out to the side to do something. But in terms of maybe, so these are the movements that give us better rotation, because these are the movements that give all of this a chance to change its shape. So the big belly muscles are having to shorten and lengthen in every possible connection. Yeah. All the big muscles that hold us are really getting that. So then I come up and I've given away all that unnecessary work, and turning, every part of me automatically goes. Yeah, it's not just this, but every part of me is ready to go. So he's trying to, in a way, limit his rotation, because it's not going to be useful. And that's where Julieta was finding it interesting, because all she wanted to do was rotate. Yeah, so every time she did anything, this rotated. But that's not going to give her ground. Yeah, that's not going to help her to find. So these movements of the head in relationship, in all their amazing configurations. Absolutely soft. He's not going to completely, he wants to give him ground a little bit. Do you know what I mean? He wants to, yeah, but he's going to limit a little bit the rotation, because again, Andy's sort of trying to get him now over this, is because you can see he wants to rotate. So which ribs, because I'm turning, it's going to be the ribs I'm already on that are turning. That's what it's going to give me. Whereas if I could get that he could go forward, can you see that's going to let something very different begin to go to the ground in his ribs, rather than if he's just doing turning. So if I'm bringing this back and I'm just thinking turning, I'm taking this straight back. What it's going to do is I'm just going to roll straight over the ribs I'm already on. But as soon as I change the trajectory, because he wasn't asking Larry to go straight back, was he? back and down, Larry, back and down. Look at the head coming forward. Because I've changed the trajectory. And the head is going to go then forward. You know, if I change the trajectory again, so now I'm thinking more, I'm going to bring him straight down. His head's going to do something different, isn't it? Yeah. So he's really saying, come on, Larry, come back here. And at the same time, he's getting Larry more over his hip joint. Because most of us have got more possibilities. If I can find my hip joint, a lot of this can often give up its work. No? Whereas if his weight was up here, not on his hip, you can, if you did it yourself, it's just not as available. Soon as I get him down over that, because look at that, look what the pelvis can do over this hip joint. Huh? With that great big ball there. Whereas if I'm up here, on here, I haven't got that, all those options open to me. Yeah. So where do you think their weight might be? It's a hypothesis. Yeah? But it's a good one to start to think about. Where's their weight? What's given them that they have to have a hip replacement? What is it that they don't understand, that they've hammered the weight in the same way, in the same place for a long period of time? What's that got to say about how well their pelvis and their head can move over their hip joints? Or do they always do it up here? Can you see that's a very different movement than I'm down. Can you feel it on yourselves? There's lots of people who move from their low back. They do it from here. Huh? Rather than they're down in their hip joints. Self-realization's a wonderful thing. So he's thinking biomechanically, do you know what I mean? It's organisation that he's after. So he kept doing this, because this is where Larry wanted to go anyway, wasn't it? That's what he sort of knew, this back, this forward. No? If I move him back even further, look how much more he can do in those ribs. Can you see how just increasing that distance has changed the habitual of where he has his weight? Huh? Just giving him more length. Give him different possibilities waking up. So he did that. He came in on the belly. So your big thing when you're coming in on the belly is you're really getting the mass of the belly, but you're not lifting them. Yeah, so I'm not lifting them up. I'm literally got the belly and I'm lifting the belly. Lifting, but can you see what I'm doing to lift the belly? Huh? I'm not pushing into the ground. Huh? I'm just gently using the ground to lift me a little bit. So I'm taking over the work of the belly and then I can let it go. Yeah. So something we do a lot. How do I take over the work of the muscles that are working too hard? So I'm just going in and substituting, but it's my self-use that's substituting. It's not just enough to go in there and hold the belly and my belly's tight. No? Because I'm just showing him how to tighten his belly even more. No? So there's a real lightness. And then he went into here because he's got him on his hip joint now. So he can actually come in here and roll his pelvis. Huh? Remember when his hand was down really low? Huh? So I'm shifting him in another way to bring him even more onto his hip joint. But I'm not lifting him. Huh? I'm just shifting him. And really, you've got to feel this on each other just to see where it's going to work. Then he's going in and he got again and he went through here and he went, and now he's looking for, if this is starting to roll, if I'm starting to get that weight shift, then will these ribs give up their work enough to feel that they could lengthen up? So I'm now getting longer on this side, but I'm not getting it by lifting this up. No? I'm still at the moment, Larry needs ground. I'm sort of showing him these can come a little closer together because I'm finding more places that you can roll across the ground, that this could begin to lift a little bit. No? Is that making sense? So I'm not doing this to him. No, Larry's not ready. Oh, well, you could do it to him, but that's not what he needs to understand. No? He needs ground, 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 and more ground. So then he's got that. Larry's legs aren't very well organised. Yeah? He could go back here again, and look what's starting to come through the spine now. He's getting a real, but not this direction, but a real with lengthening and shortening. No? So not straight through the middle, but with a lengthening and shortening. So then he goes up to his head. And this is when Larry had already decided after all that, oh, yeah, my head's much lighter. I can reposition it. No? And look at the weight transference that this little skeleton's getting to make that light. If I stuck those ribs, no? So wherever new bits he's found, so we can make you a little bit longer now, yeah, but more in line. So then he's going through and he knows he's got this. So he's just coming under. This again is really light and he knows he's got connection. So he's just going in and you're going to have to find again for the person. So he's going, come up a little bit. You're getting longer on this upper side, a little bit forward and up. You could even put your hand on their head if you wanted to. Yeah, so that they could feel that this was getting them coming through. Yeah, if you wanted to connect it a little bit more for them. And if there's an area that doesn't feel, and for Larry, these are often, this is for him, you don't stay there and make it happen. No? You're just going in and going, yeah, how does this go through? 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 Because I want to get over that. And Larry's not quite like this. Larry's a bit more there. Yeah, but it's the same thing. I've still got to organise both of these hips. This is the mobile hip, yeah? This is the weight-bearing hip, but I want it to be mobile. It's not fixed. I want this shoulder to be able to transfer weight, so that this can get freer. No? You'll see where he goes from there, though. So just is a little bit there. And then he's going in and he's here on this first rib and he's showing Larry. So he's not pushing that way. He's giving him ground. Again, the same thing we've been doing. Giving him ground. So he's showing him these ribs and at this, and then see, this guy doesn't get it because these ribs are going down too. So he's then going to say, but Larry, this could go down and these could come up. What's that going to make your sternum do? It's going to make it move. No? If I can get that to go down and those to come up, my sternum, this guy's won't do it, but it has to be available to do some of those sliding movements that you were doing with Marg in those movements, yeah? That as you're taking this to the side and this is coming down, something has to slide in here to let my head stay in that orientation. I can't keep them together. Huh? And is this going to let more weight shift? Yeah? So this one down, this one up. Okay, do you want to go and try it? So he's saying these ones are down into the ground, but if these ones lighten, so I'm shortening this side